This NHTS Academy video is going to provide an in-depth look at trip purpose in the Federal Highway Administration's National Household Travel Survey, or the FHWA NHTS. We'll primarily look at trip purpose variables from 1995 on, with a particular focus on the use of home as a trip purpose. In two other NHTS Academy videos, both linked here, we cover different aspects of trip purpose. One video covers trip purpose for urban planning purposes, while the other provides a general overview on trip purpose from the beginning of the NHTS data series. This second video covers the variable WHYTRP90, which provides information on why a trip was taken, and as such excludes to home as an option. But some users wanted more information. First, trip chaining analysis requires the to home purpose. Second, a large number of trips were falling into the catch-all category of other family and personal business, to the point where it was hard to make use of such data. So more detailed categories were needed. These issues were addressed in the 1995 survey. In 1995, an additional purpose method was added. In this 1995 to 2009 method, to home is a possible trip purpose, representing around a third of all trips taken. While some of the other trip purposes are the same as the WHYTRP90 method, note that the share of trips will not be compatible with this set of trip purposes due to the trips to home being factored in. In general, this 95 to 09 method has different names and different variable values for each year. In 1995, the variable is named WHYTRP95 and has 17 possible purpose categories. In 2001 and 2009, there are two variables in each year, a detailed variable, which has 36 categories, and a summary variable named WHYTRP1S, which is similar to WHYTRP90 and WHYTRP95. The detailed variable was designed to be collapsed into a smaller number of categories, similar to what was done in prior surveys. With that general overview in mind, let's take a look at how trip purpose categories have evolved in the 1995, 2001, and 2009 NHTS surveys. First, let's look at WHYTRP95, found in the 1995 survey. The biggest addition is the to home option, which will affect mode share for all other purpose categories. Beyond that admittedly large change, there are only a few other differences between WHYTRP95 and WHYTRP90. First, return to work was added in 1995 for cases where someone would go to work, go to lunch, and then return to work. A second change is the splitting of school and religious activity into separate purposes. Finally, three new purposes were added. The first two involve servicing a passenger, with take someone somewhere and pick up someone being added. The last new purpose is where respondents went out to eat. These changes helped make trip purpose a bit more detailed in the 1995 survey, while retaining the ability to compare purposes over time with the continued inclusion of the WHYTRP90 variable. The WHYTRP95 variable would set the stage for even bigger, more detailed changes in the 2001 and 2009 surveys. Now let's take a look at the detailed trip purposes found in the 2001 and 2009 surveys. The overall list is the same in both years, so let's start there. First is home, which is pretty straightforward. Next we have four categories of work and work-related trips. These include the categories found in WHYTRP95, as well as attend a business meeting or trip. Third, we have school and church trips. These are separated out, with the addition of going to the library in a school-related capacity and going to daycare. After that are medical dental trips, followed by shopping and errands. Shopping and errands have been split into buying goods, buying services, and buying gas. Social and recreational trips come next, with separate categories for exercise, relaxing or vacation, visiting friends or relatives, hanging out or going to a show, or visiting a public place. Next we have family and personal business. This includes things like using professional or personal services, attending a funeral or wedding, taking care of one's pet, and attending a non-work meeting. The transport someone category has trip purposes of picking someone up, taking and waiting for someone, or dropping someone off. The last main category is meals, with distinct purposes for social events, simply getting and/or eating a meal, or going for coffee or snacks. For trips not in any of the aforementioned groups, there's the catch-all other category, which has different codes in 2001 and 2009, but is otherwise the same. What's not the same, however, is how these 36 categories are collapsed in 2001 and 2009. Let's start by looking at WHYTRP1S in the 2001 NHTS. This variable closely mirrors WHYTRP95, as you can see from the first 8 values of WHYTRP95 shown here. The coding is different for some purposes, but the purposes themselves match up. For the remaining purposes, strong similarities remain between WHYTRP95 and WHYTRP1S in the 2001 survey. You can see that Take Someone Somewhere and Pick Up Someone in 1995 has been combined to a single serve passenger purpose in 2001. Similarly, the purposes of vacation, visit friends and relatives, and other social recreational have been combined into a single social recreational purpose in 2001. Contrast values of WHYTRP1S in 2001 to those in 2009, seen here. In 2009, the values are simply the groupings of the WHY2 variable we discussed earlier. We hope you've enjoyed our look at trip purpose in the FHWA NHTS. Thanks for watching.